All right, guys, I am in the car for my first series of the year. We are going to play some live poker for the first time in 2023. I'm obviously super excited. I am also a little nervous because it's been about 2 months since the last time I played some live poker, but we prepared well, we are ready to go, and we are ready to crush it. Currently, the Utrecht Poker Series are going on in the city of Utrecht, and that is going to be a great moment for us to test our skills in the live field and really get in some volume. Normally, there aren't many games around, but during a series like this, there tend to be many more games. So hopefully the 5-5 cash games are running at full speed. If not, we'll play a little lower. If there's only higher games, we might give that a shot, but if nothing happens at all, we're just going to check out the venue again and see how everything's going. So obviously, I'm going to take you guys with me, so stay tuned and check out the action. Okay, I know what you're thinking. Very sexy intro. I am curious to see how it went. Well, I gotta disappoint you a little bit. Damn! Because the casino was not too happy about me recording any hands at the table, and I couldn't figure out a construction where I was able to do this without getting people, in the camera, without making a proper angle. We did bring the right equipment, but unfortunately, we will have to do with still images. So, unfortunately for now, this will have to do, but I promise you in next episodes, I am going to find a solution. Okay, so let's get to our first hand. As you can see, I definitely tried to set up the camera on my little tripod, but unfortunately couldn't get it started in the right way. So we will have to do with this for now. We bought in for about 1,000 euros and then we got started playing. We don't have many interesting hands because we were card dead pretty much the entire night, but 2 hands stand out, so stay with me. We are going to get started with the first hand where we got King Jack offsuited from middle position and we make it 20 euros. We get called by the button, which was a recreational player, and then in the big blind we had a decent regular that was making moves all night. He was playing pretty decent, but definitely our hand was good enough to raise it up, so we did. Anyway, we go to the flop 3-way and the flop comes King of Hearts, 10 of Spades, and 2 of Clubs. Now, we are first to act as the big blind checks and we bet 30 euros. Our hand is pretty good. We have top pair and we just want to see if we can get the field down to less players. The button calls and the big blind decides to fold. Then we go over to the turn and the turn is the Jack of Hearts. Obviously a great card for us because now we make 2 pair, but we could potentially be up against a hand like Queen 9 or Ace Queen with a recreational player. You just never know, but I am going to decide that we have the best of it most of the time, and so I go out and I bet 80 euros. She thinks about it for a little while and then decides to put in the call. Now, the river comes the 5 of diamonds, obviously not a card that's going to danger us, and I'm thinking right now, if we were already ahead, then we are probably still ahead. So, what am I going to do? Well, I want her to call with worse hands. She might actually have a king herself that's worse than the 2 pair that we have. And so I decide to put in a bet of 120 euros. Maybe, just maybe, I should have sized it up a little bit because she thinks about it for a little while and then puts in the call. She doesn't show her hand, but we take the spot down and we are happy with our first win of the night. Okay, it makes me happy that you made it so far. Yes, another still image, but as you can see, it's not that I didn't try to make sure that I got some good shots. Unfortunately, again, recording really wasn't going to happen, so we have to do with one more still image, but it's going to be a fun hand, so stick around for this one. This time our stack is a little deeper, so we are at about 1,250 euros, and this shot was taken right after we got dealt Ace King of Clubs. This time the under the gun player is the big blind from the previous hand, so pretty decent rec that had been making some action, and he makes it 20. Now from there, the next player right next to him is going to call. Now, this player had been playing many hands throughout the evening. He was trying to see many flops and just trying to see if his hand fit the board, yes or no, and maybe trying to hit some sort of a straight flush or whatever. So he was definitely happy to make calls. Now the action gets onto us, and we obviously don't want the rest of the world to call when we have ace king of clubs, so we make it 80, and I think that's a pretty decent size. It cuts down the field and it shows them that we're taking things seriously, and also we're gonna get some money into the pot with a good hand. So everybody folds, and it gets back to the under the gun player that makes the call, and the player right next to him makes the call as well. So right now we're at a 250 euro pot, and we are going three-way to a flop of queen jack 3 with 1 club. Now both players check to me, and this is a flop that is pretty good for my range as I was the original aggressor. So we decide to make it 80 euros and see if they want to hop along for the ride. Maybe fold out some other hands that we don't want to stick around, and the under the gun player folds, the player right next to him decides to make the call. We go to a turn, and this one is the queen of clubs. So now we have a straight draw, we have a flush draw, and we have 2 overcards. So we're still in pretty decent shape. He could obviously have a queen, he could have a jack. So he checks to us, and now we are thinking about it for a little bit on what the best action is. I decided to go here for a half pot bet, so we bet about 200 euros, and I think this is going to be a decent size in this spot for the reason that, well, we can make better hands fold. Like for example, a jack is probably not going to be happy on this board anymore, and also lower pocket pairs, like for example pocket 10s, 9s, 8s are going to be in a tough spot. At the same time, if he decides to call us again, we still have pretty decent equity to make a good hand. So he thinks about it a little bit more, and a little bit more before he decides to make the fold. So that is a wrap for the second interesting hand of the night, and unfortunately we had to cut it down early. All right, guys, we just finished our first live session of the year, and the action, well, it wasn't particularly great. There were some 5-5 games running, so that was what we played, but we didn't get much action on our good hands, and unfortunately the rest of the evening we spent being guard that. So we had to bluff our way through a couple of spots, and well, it just didn't go the way we thought it would go. We are still up, so maybe I should be more positive about that. We ended up being 240 euros in the plus, so not bad at all, but I definitely wish it was more. Well, that's part of poker as well, and although it didn't go the way we thought it was going to go, we still had great fun. So one other thing that I figured out was that unfortunately the casino is not too happy about me videoing anything. So we are going to try to figure out how to show you some of the hands and how to share the results with you guys. Well, anyway, it was a great evening. We will be back next day for more action, and we are obviously going to try our best to share this with you guys. Let me know what you think of this vlog. Let me know what you think we should do as a hand format in case we can't make any videos. And I still hope you enjoyed this and that you get to watch it with a smile on your face. So let me know what you thought in the comments, and please give me some feedback. Thank you so much, and see you next time, team. Take care.